Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am here with episode 11 of my Shop Your Crafty Stash series. I can't believe I've been doing this for 11 weeks. It's been so much fun and I'm really enjoying it. And it's been a great way to use the stuff from my stash. So today, my random number generator chose out this Magical Friends stamp set from MFT. I have used this a couple of times, I think, but not for a long time. And I haven't packaged it very well. I only have the stamp set there. And also chose out the Mama Elephant Matchbox Builder die set. So at first I was a little unsure about how I was going to make this work. Obviously most of the stamps in the stamp set are rather large, but I went ahead and chose the smaller stamp set from the set. So the little girl, the little boy, the littlest dragon, this little speech bubble, which I've stamped out the sentiment I can't wait for the next chapter on, and a few flowers in there as well. So on to my dies. So I went ahead and cut everything out. I've used some Lawn Fawn cardstock today. So this is Peacock cardstock, and I'm going to use this as the base for my Matchbox. So this is the kind of box part of the Matchbox, if you like. So you will see that there are tons of score lines. So you've got two score lines at each end to create this kind of these flap pieces. So what I'm doing is I'm just folding these over. Because I've used relatively thick cardstock, I'm reinforcing those folds with my kind of bone folder tool here, just to make sure that those creases are nice and kind of square. Does that make sense? But nice and reinforced so that everything lays down nicely as it should. This is really important for creating boxes like this so that everything can hold in place. So we are currently looking into the inside of the box, and I am going to attach some tape. This is double-sided tape all along the edge of those outermost flaps that you can see there. So on all four sides, I'm going to go ahead and attach this tape. Then I am going to flip this piece over, and on the back side, so this is the piece that would be on the outside of the box, I am adding some more tape just to those tiny little tabs, the 4 little tabs in each corner. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing paper from these 4 little ones here, and I can start to build my box, and you'll see how it's going to come together. So it's pretty easy to make. All you need to do is to fold those little flaps in so that they butt up against the edge of each of those cardstock sides to create this little box shape. And you can see how it's going to come together there. So just folding that last one in and attaching it down. And now I'm just going to go around and bend those outer pieces out ever so slightly just to make it easier to get the backing paper off that double-sided tape. And then I'm going to fold those pieces in. This helps to create a really sturdy box, actually, so it holds together really nicely. So just doing that for all 4 sides again, and then that will be the kind of base piece of my Matchbox completed. And you can see there how it's all come together nicely. It's really firm, it holds together really well, and because I've used that relatively thick cardstock, it works really nicely. So onto the kind of wrapper piece, the piece that kind of the Matchbox slides in and out of. Again, this has several score lines, which I'm going to fold over and reinforce with that bone folding tool. And once I have done that, you can see how I'm going to wrap it around. So it kind of wraps around, and you want to have that join piece on the base of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and attach some double-sided tape here onto that flap at the bottom. And I'm going to peel that up, and then I'm going to wrap it around my box. What you want to do is make sure that it's firm but not too firm, if that makes sense, because you obviously want your Matchbox to be able to slide in and out relatively easily without too much trouble. Obviously, the more you do this, the easier it becomes. That's why I'm kind of playing around with it a few times. And that is it. My little Matchbox is complete. So in the die set, you get a bunch of other dies to help you create a scene. So you've got the scallop piece. Now I have cut this from some Mermaid cardstock from Lawn Fawn, and then the green piece, which is the hill piece, which I've cut from Cilantro cardstock. Now I had a scrap of this Mermaid, which wasn't quite big enough, But so I decided to cut that grassy piece, and I've just glued them down together there to create one main piece, if that makes sense. So I like to use up all my scraps, and if I can avoid cutting into a brand new piece of cardstock, I will, which is what I did here. So now I'm just creating a little scene that's going to go onto the front of my Matchbox, and I've got the little girl there sitting on her stool reading her book, and the thought bubble that says, I can't wait for the next chapter. And I'm just going to attach all of these down, and I've got a couple of little flowers there as well, which I'm going to tuck in to that kind of grassy piece. And once that is done, I can go ahead and glue that to the front of my Matchbox. Now, I've got to say, I really enjoyed using this Matchbox die today. I bought it a while ago when it was first released, and I used it once and made a couple of little things from it, and then kind of put it away and forgot about it. So this is what this series is all about. It's all about pulling out stuff that I haven't used for ages and kind of rediscovering it, because when I bought this, it was one of those, oh my gosh, I have to have that because it's so amazing. And and then I guess I got sidetracked by the next great thing. But anyway, it was really fun to pull it out and have a play around with it today. So again, in that die set, you've got this kind of mountain piece, and then you've got that stitched rectangle, which doesn't have the scallop. So you've got two options. I'm going to use this for the inside of my box. So I am going to attach that mountain panel down. Now, it did have a flap, which you can use to attach to the base of the Matchbox. I'm just going to go ahead and attach it down with some foam squares onto this kind of mermaid piece that I've cut here with this stitched rectangle. And this is going to create a kind of dimensional scene inside my Matchbox. So I have my mountains down there. I have these little clouds, which are also included in the die set. They're little flat-bottomed clouds. They look kind of cute. And then I have my castle from the stamp set, my little dragon, and my little boy. And I'm gonna kind of go to, I can't speak. I'm going to have it looking like the little boy and the dragon are on some sort of quest, and they've just spotted the castle on the hill in the distance. That reminds me of an Ed Sheeran song. But anyway, so my little clouds are going to go right in the background there behind my mountains. My little castle is going to sit right on the top of that mountain there, right on the very top. So it kind of looks like it's far off in the distance. Obviously, it's a very tiny castle. So I wanted it to look like it was way, way in the distance. My little dragon, I'm going to pop up on some more foam squares. Again, I just want to add lots of dimension to this so it looks like you're really peering into a scene. And once I've taken the backing paper off that, I'm going to pop him down towards the right-hand side there. And my little boy, I'm just going to glue flat on top of my dragon. So they're standing side by side. They're kind of partners in this quest. They're heading off on adventures together. So that is what is happening. Once that's done, I can kind of clear off all the mess that I've made. I have got these little extra flowers, which I'd cut out. Wasn't sure whether I was going to use them or not. I placed them down, moved them around, fiddled around with them, and in the end kind of got rid of them completely. But I will bring them back in here. You will see in a sec. But yeah, I decided not to use them at this point. So I kind of swept them away and then just took my liquid glue and popped my panel into the base of my Matchbox here. So I'm just using liquid glue for this part. No need for any extra foam tape. Everything's got lots of dimension on it already. And I'm just going to center that up into the base of my Matchbox there and pop that down. So that is kind of like my little scene complete. So my little girl is on the front. She's reading the story. And on the inside, we've got what's happening in the story. That was kind of the thing that I was going for today. So here are my little flowers again. Now what I've done is I've just bent the base of the stalks back to kind of form an L shape. And I'm going to pop them down onto the base of the Matchbox with some liquid glue. I'm hoping that they're going to stay in place. This is pretty strong liquid glue, so I think once it's set, they will do. But you'll see here that they pop off a couple of times and I end up fiddling around with them. They're only attached down by a tiny little bit of cardstock there, but I'm hoping it will hold. So I decided to use all the flowers just because, you know, why not? Not very good at just leaving things. And then, yeah, lo and behold, it popped off this one when I tried to attach that extra flower down. So I've reattached it. I'm going to pull out my little pokey tool thing here in a sec and try and put them down, attach them down even more firmly, just to press them down into that base piece. And once that was done, it was pretty much finished even. Goodness, why can't I speak today? So I played around with it a little bit, slid them in and out, had another little accident with my flowers at the end there when I tried to push it back in here. As you see, knocked them off again, did manage to reattach them, and at the moment, touch wood, fingers crossed, they are holding firm. Let's see if they last. But yeah, just have to be a little bit careful when I'm sliding them in and out. But isn't that cute? And I'm so happy to have rediscovered this little Matchbox set again. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. And please do subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you come back again. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.